It's not a how much am I paying, it's what am I getting at the end of the day.
Paul, maybe good to introduce yourself. Who's Paul Vincent?
Okay. Well, I joined Hayes about 4 months ago, so my job is to head up all of our statement of work activity. I've been in the industry for about 4 or 5 years. Before that, I ran my own consulting practice, procurement consultancy. Before that, I had a wide and varied corporate career. So what's really useful for the job I have is I've seen statement of work from all positions around the table, as a client, as a program owner, as a provider, and now a sort of buyer and an overarching enabler. So it gives me a good insight.
Okay, and you're based in the UK?
Yeah, I'm based in the UK, work out of London, but I travel, I'm in a global role, so I travel to wherever our clients are.
Okay. Maybe good to elaborate on statement of work. What's the definition of statement of work?
Well, it's a very good question because everyone has a slightly different definition. I try and really simplify it. Statement of work is purely a document. It's a document that actually captures what somebody is going to do for money and how their success is going to be measured. It's not a type of resource, it's not a service, it is purely just a document. And the key things are that you don't buy a statement of work, you buy the services covered by the statement of work. There is no one owner in a business for statement of work, and there's certainly no one procurement category owner for statement of work. And that is a distinction that's really important, because what people tend to do is start from the worker in. So they say, if you're a statement of work, then this is how we're going to manage you in our organisation.
Yeah.
Completely reverse. What do you want to do? What's the best way to actually resource against that? And what's the best way to contract for it?
Yeah.
And part of that contracting process will end up with a statement of work.
Okay. So what's the problem with statement of work in most companies?
Well, one, inconsistency. So, for example, they may have large consulting organisations coming in and doing big transformational projects. They are governed by a statement of work. That tends to be a lot more precise and well documented than smaller freelancers, independent contractors who are doing similar work, really, but actually their contracting mechanism is very different. So definition is really important, consistency, and also just the fact that many sort of program managers, engagement managers, aren't always clear about what they think success looks like. So they don't write it into the statement of work up front, which means you then got the opportunity for scope creep and all the commercial issues around that.
Yeah. Looking from the vendor side, what's their issues? What are the problems they encounter?
Cost of sale. Yeah, so you're only as good as your last project. It's so important that you know who your decision makers are, who's going to influence your ability to get more work. And often companies have a very detached procurement process, so they really try and avoid the service provider and the engagement manager, the customer, from having too much interaction. Again, that is really suboptimal, because it's only by understanding what that engagement manager really wants that you can really set your project up for success.
So is this the point where Hayes comes in the interconnection with issues at both sides?
Absolutely, yeah. So we're trying to simplify it first and foremost and give people a more of a natural glide path into doing something. The trouble with a lot of programs is they have far too large an aspiration. Let's change the world on day one. You're never going to do that. So look at a particular population or a particular type of work, try and look for some improvements there, and then use that success to then go outward in your organisation. So we're really trying to help companies to get started, to define what the benefits could be, and then roll out from there.
Okay. Do you have examples? Are there cases where Hayes is providing this kind of consultancy and solution?
But I'm delighted to say that we have got a really good traction with our existing customers in terms of some of the things I'm talking about. And we have just been given preferred bidder status with a large organisation in the finance industry, which is very exciting. We do have, historically, a number of programs which include statement of work, but it's often whatever the ambition and tramlines laid down by the procurement function we're dealing with. So whilst we're in that space, the sort of project and program I'm talking about is probably a lot broader than traditionally. But it's not just a Hayes thing, it's traditionally in the industry. People are quite narrow in their ambition for SOW. We're just trying to explode that.
Okay, so typically what would be the benefits of bringing this into the program?
Again, it's not a how much am I paying, it's what am I getting at the end of the day, and that's really the benefit to an organisation. The regulations purely relate to how am I defining a particular style of worker. And clearly in the UK you have a regulation called IR35 which governs disguised employment. In other geographies there'll be a very similar thing. Belgium, I'm sure, is similar, and the Netherlands. So it's just making sure that that doesn't either stop you from doing something positive or actually obscure the real benefits of SOW, which, as I say, is all about what you're getting rather than what you're paying.
Okay, great. So a large opportunity for most companies to bring this into the program.
Huge. I mean, on average, companies will spend more than 4 or 5 times in statement of work activity than they do on contingent. So the benefits are absolutely enormous.
Okay.